What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Yes, you saw the title. It is true. It's not clickbait. Congress approved, both the House and the Senate approved this stimulus package. The $900 billion stimulus package that they have been working on for 8 months, it's finally approved. Now, there are things missing in this bill. Okay? There's no state and local government funding. There's no liability protections. There's $600 missing off of that $1,200 stimulus check that everybody said we will be getting. So there are things missing. But it's a good start. It's a good start, and many experts are saying that by passing this stimulus package and by coming together and providing some type of relief to the American people, this is a good sign that shows that Congress is willing, if we have a Democratic House and a Republican Senate, and that's how we move into the future, which we'll know on January 5th, then that's a good sign that we can work together. So they are saying that this does mean that there is a chance and a possibility for an additional stimulus package, which is good because most economists predict we need 3 times as much stimulus as we just got. So although there are things missing in this bill, this is a good start. Even Joe Biden tweeted, and he said, I quote, "Our work is far from over. Starting in the new year, Congress will need to immediately get to work on support for our COVID-19 plan." This is true. As soon as Congress gets back. Now, the Senate is supposed to come back, I believe, on December 28th or 29th. And the House, they'll come back the first part of January, which is great. They can start working on things then. Nobody expects this to be the final stimulus package. Now, I'm going to go over a whole chart that kind of explains what's in it. I'm still trying to read through this 5,500-page monstrosity, but I will get there, and I'll have all the details for you. So, all of our congressional leaders, as of right now, are stating that we will have an additional stimulus package come January. Now, they're probably looking to pass state and local government funding, pass liability protections. Even Chuck Schumer has stated, if Joe Biden wants a $1,200 stimulus check in this next package, a $1,200 stimulus check will be in this next package. So that's good. But let's look at what is actually in this bill now, because that's what's most important. That's what you're here to see. So let's jump into the iPad, and I'm going to show you exactly what is in this bill. So let's go. So here we go. Here's this $900 billion stimulus bill. Now, I broke it down into different sections, so hopefully it'll be easier to follow along. So let's get into that. First, and I did a few videos yesterday to outline some of these things. I did a video on stimulus checks. I also did a video on the unemployment benefit and rental assistance. So I'll link to both of those down in the description box below so you can go and check those out. So here, $600 stimulus check. First, the same eligibility as the CARES Act, except for a few minor modifications. So if you are on Social Security, you're on SSI, SSDI, you got Railroad, or VA benefits from disability, you will get a $600 stimulus check. As to whether it comes through a economic impact payment card, or it comes through a stimulus check, a physical check, or it comes through direct deposit. Again, I have no idea how you have that set up, but you will get a stimulus check. Also, the other difference is if you have an ITIN number, it does not disqualify your family. It disqualifies you from receiving a stimulus check, but your family would still be eligible as long as they themselves qualify individually. So that's good there. One of the big changes, in the CARES Act, it was 17 and under received a stimulus check. Now, according to reading through all the stuff, it says 16 and under. 16 and under. So they brought the year down. So that means if you received the first stimulus check, you should receive the second stimulus check as long as you meet those criteria. Also, there's absolutely no adult dependents. And again, the same criteria if you made as an individual under $75,000 or as a married couple filing jointly made under $150,000, you would receive a stimulus check. And this is all based on your 2019 tax returns, unless you didn't file your 2019 tax returns or haven't done it yet, which I believe everybody should have. But if you haven't, then it would go back to 2018. Yesterday, Steve Mnuchin, he stated that checks will be issued at the beginning of next week. The beginning of next week is December 28th, so I'd anticipate they get sent out on December 28th, but they could get pushed back, maybe a few more days, possibly even January 1st. But most people are expected to see their stimulus check by next Wednesday. So that is, was that December 28th? So December 29th, they should either receive it, or December 30th. That will be good. Now, let's get to the $300 per week in unemployment benefits, because a lot of people have been asking. Again, I did a separate video. I'll link to that down in the description box below, so you can go and check that out if you want to. So, the $300 per week in unemployment benefits. It will go for a full 11 weeks. It will start on December 27th and go through March 14th. I did put a note here that if you begin after March 14th, what that means is if you lose your job and you are now on unemployment after March 14th, the extension will go until April 5th. That will be the expiration date. That will be the cutoff date completely. Now, I do not know. I need to read it again. It's a 5,500 page bill, so I'll need to read it again or a little bit more in detail. But I do not know if somebody goes on unemployment, let's say, February, 25th, hey, would they receive that extra, little few weeks until April 5th? I don't know that yet, but I'll get that answer. We also know all unemployment programs are going to be extended the full 11 weeks and then have a cutoff date as well. This includes the PUA and the PEUC. Those are all extended. There's no retroactive pay for the $300 per week. And I wrote here, what if I ran out of my 39 weeks of state unemployment? What they are saying is you still get the extra 11 weeks. If you run out, whether you run out in the next month or you have already ran out of your unemployment benefits, you will still get an additional 11 weeks. I do not believe you need to reapply. Okay, I don't think you need to reapply. I think it just automatically kicks in, but that's something that I need to look into a little bit more, and this will come down to how the states implement it. So just keep that in mind. It will be based on a state-by-state basis. Also, the rental assistance, and I got some information for small business, business meals, transportation, and then everything else as well. So let's get into this. $25 billion for rental assistance. First off, I just want to add right down here, the federal eviction moratorium will be extended until January 31st. It won't be cut short. So it is only 1 month, but that should be enough time for states to get their systems in place. The states are going to be responsible for distributing the funds. Now, many people are currently predicting it will be about a 3-week to 5-week timeline for implementation. So if that's the case, then just understand it could take a little bit, but it will be coming. Rental assistance also is not counted as income. And I know a lot of people are worried about that. Is, okay, if they receive, let's say, 10 months of rental assistance at $1,000, they receive a $10,000 rental assistance payment, do they have to pay taxes on that $10,000 at the end of the year? Because if that's the case, they're not going to be able to do it. But we know rental assistance is not counted as income. That's great. The other thing, either the landlord or the tenant can apply for rental assistance. If the landlord does it, they apply either for or help the tenant out, or they apply on the tenant's behalf. If the landlord is applying on the tenant's behalf, they must get the tenant's signature for approval. And I stated this in one of my other videos. This is just a way to prevent the landlord from committing fraud and telling the tenant that maybe they get a check from the state or the rental assistance program, and then they tell the tenant, I didn't get a check, so you still have to pay me your $10,000. So they kind of get double the amount, which just isn't right. So that's what we know there. As far as priority, first, what we know is people that make less than 50% of the area median income will receive more of a priority. Also, people that make less than 80% less, they'll get even a higher priority. So it does go based off of income. So if you are not really low income, if you have a decent salary, a decent amount of money, then I'd suggest apply quickly, because once the money's gone, it is gone. It's not going to be redistributed. Okay, there's not going to be more money in the pot. This is it. Also, If you have one or more individuals in the household that are currently unemployed and have been unemployed for the past 90 days, then you can apply as well. That would be another top priority. And then any tenant that can attest that any individual inside the household is at risk of becoming homeless, they would be in the top priority as well. This is just a way to prevent COVID from spreading. So that's what we know as far as the $25 billion for rental assistance. And again, if you can get in and get in early, I highly recommend you do so, because let's say there's $25 billion. Let's say 1,000 people in your state go and apply. I highly doubt there's just 1,000 people in any state that are going to apply for rental assistance. But let's say 1,000 people do. 1,000 people would probably get it. Okay, but if 50,000 people decide to apply, then most likely not all 50,000 are going to get it. It's just going to be the highest priority, and they'll work their way down. So the people that still need rental assistance but aren't considered high priority, they're just going to be like, yeah, we'll get to you next time. You can manage, when really that might not be the case. Let's get to the small business funding. A lot of people have been asking about this. I went through it. There's a lot to it. So I'm going to try to explain it as best that I can. Again, there's still some stuff here that I need to look into a little bit more, but I promise I'm going to do that. First off, we have three different sections. We have $284 billion for PPP funding for small businesses. We also have $20 billion for the EIDL grants. We also have $15 billion for the Save Our Stages, the SOS Act, which is for live venues. This is something brought on by Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer. So, start off with the PPP funding. First off, you can get a second draw of the funds. So you already received the PPP funding the first time, but you can get a second draw only if you have experienced a 25% reduced revenue. And this has to be a drop in revenue between similar quarters from 2019 and 2020. So if you have let's say quarter 2 of 2019 was 25% lower or higher than quarter 2 of 2020, then you will be able to get a second draw. That you will have to provide proof is what I'm reading. So that is good. You can't just attest that, yes, I made less money. I made 26% less. Can't do that. So these are only for businesses that have less than 300 employees. And a big thing, this is huge. This is huge. All business expenses are tax deductible. Okay? And this actually is going to make it where it's you're pretty much going to get like a double dip on tax deductions. Look at this. I wanted to just do a quick little example so that you can kind of see. Here's the example. So let's say you make get $100,000 in a PPP loan. Great. Well, if you spend all of that on expenses, if your income was $100,000, that pretty much is a wash. If you take away $100,000 in income because you spent $100,000 in expenses, it's zero, right? Your revenue was your gross revenue was technically zero. Now, Congress in this bill now allows a business to deduct all PPP loan expenses and the loan amount income. So, if you get $100,000 in a PPP loan, you can deduct all those expenses, and you can also deduct you can get the tax break on that other $100,000. Let's say you get a $50,000 PPP loan. You can deduct the $50,000 in expenses for like things like let's say you run a restaurant, so you have things like food costs. You got employees. You have a lease payment. You have PPE. You have things like that. You can deduct all that, and then on top of that, you can deduct an additional $50,000 from your actual income. So it's pretty much a dual tax benefit there. This is mainly helping out businesses. This bill right here, this $900 billion bill, is helping out businesses. It's a big thing for businesses. There's not a lot of money for individuals, but businesses, there's a lot in here. Okay? Don't get mad, but that is what's in here. Whether it's right or wrong, there should be more money for people. There should be more money for people, but that's not the way Congress did it this time. We'll see when Joe Biden comes in office if he changes things up, which I believe he will, and I'll get to that in a minute. So, $25 billion for the EIDL grants. This is huge. This is for anybody with a side hustle. So if you sell on eBay, you are an Uber driver, you sell at craft fairs, you have a side hustle where you watch dogs, or you're a dog walker, this is for you. And the EIDL grant this time is going to be targeted grants to help out certain people. When this money's gone, it will be gone. This is something that went quickly last time, so do not wait. Okay, you can get some free money. Now, if you live in a low-income area and you have reduced income of at least 30%, 30, then you can receive up to $10,000. Okay, but you have to live in a low-income area, and that has to be proven, and a reduced income of 30%. You can receive up to $10,000. That's huge. The other way is small businesses with less than 10 employees can get this EIDL targeted grant money, and you can get $1,000 per employee. If you are the employee, which you are, because you actually have to have one employee to run your business. Let's say you sell on eBay. It's you and your wife. That's 2 employees. That's $2,000 that they're going to give you for free that does not have to be paid back. So that is huge. And then the last thing, like I stated, the $15 billion for the Save Our Stages, the SOS Act for live venues, which was brought in by Chuck Schumer, who is a Democrat from New York. So that is big. Meal deductions. Let's say you do sell on eBay. Right here, you sell on eBay, and you bought a meal, for a business partner, a client, or maybe a wholesaler or something like that, right? If you right now, this bill includes meal deduction, business meal deductions at 100%. It's fully deductible, 100% business meals fully deductible. This is going to go on for 2 years, starting pretty much January 1st of 2021. It actually starts December 31st, 2020, goes until January 1st, 2023. 2 full years. That's big. So that's what we know there. As far as transportation, I just want to break this down because I know a lot of people were wondering, how much money did these people get, or how much money did those people get? Well, what we know right now is transportation is going to be $42 billion. Airlines receive $15 billion. Mass transit receives $14 billion. State highways, $10 billion. So yes, states are getting some money, but that's no big deal. Airports, $2 billion, and Amtrak, $1 billion. Here's another thing. I broke all these things down. I didn't break them all down, but I broke down a few just to give you some of an idea of what's going on here. But broadband, $7 billion. It's not a lot of money, but it's going to help out a lot of people. Here's how. Currently, it's written where low-income households can receive up to $50 to help pay for internet. The Congress does not want to see kids sitting at Taco Bell trying to get internet, sitting at the edge of Starbucks, stealing their internet. Not because they don't want them to steal their internet, because they want them to be in their home, to be in an actual learning environment, not with cars whizzing by them. So, this includes households with any recently unemployed member. So if the mom, the dad, the brother, sister, are now unemployed and they are part of the household, then you can receive up to $50 per month, I believe, to help pay for internet. So that could be big. Healthcare, it's for $35 billion. Childcare, $10 billion. I believe if you're on pandemic EBT, you automatically qualify for some reduced or even free childcare. Vaccine distribution, there's $8 billion for the vaccine distribution. I believe there's a decent amount for vaccine purchases as well, and testing and tracing. But vaccines, the point of this is vaccines have to be free. If vaccines are free and people are already struggling, nobody's going to pay for an overpriced vaccine. So the U.S. government has done that for us, which means if you go and get a vaccine, you will not be charged to do so. Another thing that I didn't put actually in this was there's the end of surprise billing, which is great. So if you go to the hospital and you need, something special, and you have like an out-of-network technician, or I don't know if there's an out-of-network technician, but let's say an out-of-network doctor, comes to you and you didn't realize they're out-of-network, and you now have this surprise bill. Well, that covers that. There's no surprise billing, which is great. There's also nutrition assistance, $13 billion for food and SNAP. That will include a 4-month boost of 15% on top of SNAP, so that's great there. We also have, there's going to be more money for food pantries and things like that. There'll be food boxes. There's money that goes into this for other meal programs, for example, Meals on Wheels. I believe there's like $200 million that goes to that, or somewhere around there. I didn't put in the exact number. I probably should have. We also have $13 billion for farmers. School funding, there's 82 billion for school funding. I believe it's like 54 billion for kindergarten through 12th grade. There's money for private schools as well. We have mental health, 8 billion. And then down here at the bottom, I just want to bring this up. January stimulus. The reason why I want to bring this up is because right now they are stating that there will be a stimulus package done in January. Now, Congress can say that all they want, but honestly, we don't know. They said this, we'd have a second stimulus package done in, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, and it's the end of December. So even though they say it's coming in January, we don't know. But here's what we do know. There's two main things, okay, and the rest is kind of up for debate. But the two main things, state and local government funding, Nancy Pelosi really wants this, Joe Biden really wants this. Many people say this is needed, but Democrat or Republicans say we don't need to bail out those Democratic states. Second thing is liability protections. Mitch McConnell says this has to be in there. If he is going to pass a stimulus package in January, liability protections has to be included. So, we also heard, which I also explained earlier in this video, that if Joe Biden wants a $1,200 stimulus check, a $1,200 stimulus check will be in this package. Also, a $200 boost to Social Security. This is one of those things that Joe Biden stated on his website and stated as a campaign promise. He wanted to provide people on Social Security a little bit of a benefit. We've never heard or haven't heard lately about this $200 per month boost to Social Security checks. So right there, that is good. We are hearing about it now. Well, if Joe Biden wants it in there, it will be in there. We also know there will be an additional unemployment extension if it's needed. Right now, many people are saying it will be needed, so we'll just have to wait and see. So right now, that is what we know is in this $900 billion stimulus package. I promise I will do more standalone videos to explain and outline all the different details of this bill. Not just what I just went through, but even more, because there's more stuff in this bill. I didn't get to all of it. You'd probably be bored if I did get to all of it, so I will get to the majority of it very soon. I'll probably do all standalone bills for each one of those as well, instead of just mixing it up and making it very hard to find. So, I promise I'll do that. I also have a bunch of reading to do. This 5,500 page bill I'm looking at right now, this 5,593, I believe, page bill has a lot to it. So I'm going to add more to the chart that we just went through to make sure that you're kind of informed as to exactly what is going on and how you can get each one of the benefits. But if you have specific questions, please go ahead and ask your questions down in the comment section below. I'm more than happy to answer your questions as long as you ask them. I can't read your mind, so gotta ask questions. But just want to thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing so I can continue to keep you updated on everything that's going on. And I'll see you guys on the next one.